my sister, support my mother, support my best friend, and all of our girlfriends. Support the men and women here today.
I think powerful women often, they get concerned with this idea that they're going to be seen in this unforgiving light, and screw that. It's so old-fashioned, and it's so uninspired. Which is that she felt that the greatest change that she was going to, the biggest influence that she would have, or the change that she would make, actually would be behind closed doors. Nobody would actually know that she had made this change.
I did not vote for you. With those 6 simple words, Scarlett Johansson sparked a firestorm that's still burning through social media. The Hollywood star didn't just criticize Trump, she actually called out his daughter Ivanka as being complicit in his agenda. Melania Trump reportedly went ballistic after seeing the speech, in a rare break from her usual silent stance. You might think celebrities should stay out of politics, but when you hear exactly what Johansson said about women's rights being under attack, you might understand why this particular speech hit the Trump family where it hurts. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Remember when celebrities used to just smile, wave, and sell us shampoo? Those days are dead and buried, thanks to stars like Scarlett Johansson, who's trading her Black Widow costume for some serious political punches. When ScarJo stepped up to that Planned Parenthood podium.
That said, I respect that you are our president-elect, and I want to be able to support you. But first, I ask that you support me.
It's such an old-fashioned concept that to be this powerful woman, you can't appear, you have to be concerned with you're going to feel that somebody's going to think that you're bitchy. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about Ivanka Trump actually very recently. I'm sure you saw the interview she gave with Gayle King yesterday, but
she wasn't there to promote her latest Marvel movie. She came ready to rumble with the White House. This wasn't your typical please donate celebrity speech. Johansson went straight for Trump's jugular, making it crystal clear that women's health care wasn't just another political football to be kicked around by politicians. It is time we all stand united, so this conversation is taken off the ballot, so to speak, and out of the mouths of politicians, she declared, essentially telling Washington's big cheeses to back off from women's bodies. But what really got everyone's jaws dropping wasn't just her takedown of Trump himself. Oh no, Scarlett had another target in her crosshairs, first daughter Ivanka Trump. While most celebs would have stopped at criticizing the president, ScarJo went the extra mile by calling out his daughter's weird balancing act between being daddy's little girl and pretending to be a champion for women's rights. You can't have it both ways, Johansson stated, aiming her words like perfectly thrown daggers. If you take a job as a public advocate, then you must advocate publicly. Boom. The audience practically needed oxygen after that one. Scarlett basically exposed the elephant in the room, Ivanka's convenient habit of playing feminist in public while standing silently by as her dad pushed policies that many considered harmful to women. And just when you thought the speech couldn't get any spicier, Johansson dropped the C-bomb. No, not that one, you dirty-minded people. She labeled Ivanka as complicit in her father's agenda. That single word became like a branding iron, searing into Ivanka's carefully crafted image. It wasn't just a random insult, it perfectly captured what millions of Americans were already thinking about the first daughter's role in the administration. The internet, being the internet, immediately went bonkers. Within hours, complicit Ivanka was spreading across Twitter faster than fake news at Thanksgiving dinner.
I think you can't have it both ways, right? If you take a job as a public advocate, then you must advocate publicly, right? You advocate for
President Trump, I did not vote for you.
I thought to myself, well, that's empowering. I mean, how old-fashioned, this idea that behind a great man is a great woman. What about being in front of that person or next to them?
Social media users weren't just retweeting Johansson's speech. They were adding their own examples of how Ivanka's actions, or lack thereof, made her daddy's silent partner. Scarlett didn't just make a speech, she gave the public a new vocabulary for their frustrations. What makes this whole dust-up even more fascinating is how the normally tweet-happy President Trump responded to being verbally smacked around by one of Hollywood's biggest stars. The answer? Complete radio silence. The man who fires back at every perceived slight, from Saturday Night Live sketches to comments about his hand size, suddenly found his Twitter fingers paralyzed. This unusual restraint from the commander-in-tweet raised eyebrows across Washington. Was he genuinely unbothered, or was Johansson's precision attack too on point to counter? While Trump himself stayed mum, the rumor mill started churning out stories about another Trump family member who was reportedly less than thrilled about Scarlett's verbal beatdown. Sources close to the White House whispered that Melania Trump was absolutely fuming behind the scenes. Whether she was angry about the attack on her husband, her stepdaughter, or just annoyed that the drama was stealing headlines from her own initiatives remained unclear, but the First Lady was apparently not amused. The real impact of Johansson's speech went beyond just one viral moment. Her willingness to name names and point fingers, especially at another powerful woman like Ivanka, marked a turning point in how celebrities engage with politics. Gone were the days of vague, go vote messages and carefully worded statements designed to offend absolutely no one. Scarlett had essentially given her fellow A-listers permission to take the gloves off and get specific with their criticism. What happens after a celebrity drops a political bomb? Usually, nothing. That's the weird part about Scarlett's speech. The aftermath has been oddly quiet from her side. She hasn't made any big follow-up comments about what she said or the chaos she caused, but that silence hasn't stopped everyone else from yapping about it. The real story here isn't just what Scarlett said, it's how her speech changed the game for famous people getting political. Before, celebrities would post some vague go vote message and call it a day. Now they're naming names and taking sides without apologizing for it. Whether you think celebs should stick to making movies or speak their minds, one thing's clear. When Black Widow speaks, people listen. And now other stars are following her lead, turning red carpets into political battlegrounds. The days of celebrities keeping their opinions to themselves are as dead as one of Trump's casinos.